So for the registration categories, we mentioned that the person, the mutual fund rep candidate, must go on the NRD. And in this application, they fill out the information, and there are certain requirements. The mutual fund rep must be employed or sponsored by a single mutual fund dealer, and they're not permitted to carry out other employment, outside employment, without prior approval of the securities administrator and the SROs for which firms are members. The applicants must complete detailed registration application setting out details of their past business, employment, and conduct, and agree that the securities administrators may obtain a copy of the criminal record if there is one, which exists. Dual employment. So this allows the registered person to act as a dealing rep and as life insurance agents also. They can do this provided that Securities Commission or administrator permits the registrant to devote less than full time to business of organization. Dealing reps, dealer is aware and approves of other occupation. Dealer establishes and maintains procedures to ensure continuous service to clients, and the other gainful occupation must not be giving a negative impression of the mutual fund rep. And clear disclosure must be provided to clients that any activities related to other occupation are not business or responsibility of the dealers. So you need to inform your company and get approval from MFDA before you do any outside activity, outside business. So next we'll talk about the KYC rule, which is very important to know your client. So before you take a client, you must collect information from the client, and you must learn the essential facts of the client before you open the account to understand why are they doing this investment, what is their purpose, and then you can give the proper recommendation. So the KYC is very important for determining suitability of the investments. So the main three principles of the security regulations are personal trust, disclosure, and regulation. So of course, all salesperson must be registered with NRD, and any changes must be reported within 5 business days. And the main 5 rules are proper care and exercise professional judgment, conduct with trustworthiness and integrity, encourage others to conduct business in a professional manner, improve your professional knowledge, act in accordance to the Securities Act, and hold client information confidential. Do not share that information of one client with another. So these are the rules and regulations that you must follow. And so the mutual fund portfolio manager, they have certain restrictions. The first restriction is they must not purchase more than 10% of securities of a single issuer or a company's voting stock. They must purchase no more than 10% of net asset in a single company or 20% in companies in the same industry. And they're not allowed to purchase the shares of their own company, and they cannot purchase other mutual funds. They cannot borrow money for leverage. They can't do margin or short selling, and they can't do any derivatives except for hedging, which means they can do it for insurance to protect the portfolio balance. They can use it for market entry and exit, and they can create a clone fund. Clone fund is a mutual fund with some guarantees, and there they can 10% of the net asset value can be protected or used with invested into derivatives. The prohibited practices for mutual fund dealers or mutual fund representatives. You cannot quote a future price for buying. So if someone is going to buy a mutual fund, you cannot quote what price they will get, because the price will be on the next valuation date. If they're buying it on Friday, the price will be on Monday at 5 p.m. Then they will know the price. So before, at the time of buying, they only know what it was before. On Thursday or Friday at 5 p.m. they know what the price is, but they do not know. So if they're buying it on Friday after hours, then it will be on Monday. If they're buying it on Friday in the day, they will know the price after 5 p.m. when it is evaluated. The MFR cannot offer to repurchase any mutual fund. If the value drops, you can't say to the client, if it goes down, I'll buy it back from you. You cannot sell, of course, without license. You cannot advertise your registration with the securities administrator. You cannot promise a future price for selling. You cannot give guarantee that the price will go up to a certain level in a certain time period. You cannot guarantee anything like that. You cannot sell mutual fund to anyone outside the province, and you cannot sell unqualified securities. So these are the guidelines and restrictions for mutual fund managers. So the mutual fund managers may not provide money or goods to a distributor firm for clients. So there's a limit on how much the fund managers can provide to the distributors as benefits. They cannot provide a lot of fringe benefits. The commission rate on a fund cannot be changed unless the prospectus is renewed, and fund managers may not provide cooperative funds for client mailing. They cannot subsidize skill enhancement courses like courses in effective communication or presentation skills, and fund managers cannot provide non-monetary benefits of any significant value for the clients. So there may be occasional rewards of very small value that is okay, but not these type of awards. And so those items which are of very little value, usually like $10, $20, $30, those are okay, like pens, t-shirts, golf balls, etc. So a little more detail about the KYC. So KYC is required to maintain that the client's investments are suitable for them. So like we said, you need to do this before you actually do the process the investment. You need to go through the KYC process. In the KYC process, so before proceeding with an unsuitable, unsolicited order, you must consult with your branch manager. Unsuitable, so if unsolicited means an order which you did not contact the client or discuss the client with, the client is just giving you an order. So that is an unsolicited order, and it is unsuitable. If it is unsuitable, then you need to consult with your branch manager, and there should be a written procedure how to handle this. And you don't have to take that order if you feel it is not in the best interest of the client. So that is important to deal with. Then there's anti-money laundering, anti-terrorist financing requirements must be met before you open any account. If there's a financial interest in an account, someone else is giving money to a person to invest in mutual fund, then the financial interest is some other person. So the investment experience and knowledge of all individuals with trading authority over the account should be obtained. So you need to get their idea about what is the value, what is their perception of their risk tolerance, etc. And you need to do KYC for anyone with a financial interest in the account. And if there's any cash transaction, if they give cash for deposit over $10,000, it must be reported to FinTrack. So if there's any changes in circumstances, so once you do a KYC, you buy the mutual fund, anytime there's any change in the KYC, then you need to update the information whenever anything happens, and at least once a year, you should update the KYC. Dealer must request in writing each client notify if any material changes in circumstances. So when we talk about the KYC, what do we say? We ask the client and we have to get the information about, of course, their legal name, their address, are they single or married, or what is their marital status, their financial aspect, what is their income, what is their net worth, which is assets minus liability. And then for the investment, the memory aid is TORC, T-O-R-K. We have to ask the client, what is your time horizon? When do you need the money? That is the time horizon. What is your objective for this? Do you want to keep your money safe, or do you want to get income from it, or do you want to get growth? They usually cannot get all three. They have to decide What is their priority? What is their risk tolerance? How would they feel if the value of their money went down? How much knowledge and experience do they have regarding investments? So these are the main questions. Those are in the KYC, and based on the answers, then the suitable funds are selected. The KYP, know your product, it means you need to know about the mutual funds, how they're constructed, how they will perform in various markets, if market goes down or up, how they will perform, if there are any sales charges, if you have to pay any fees when they buy and sell, if there are any annual fees the fund charges, what are the conditions and costs when buying and selling the funds, and the type of income the funds generate. And then suitability is that it means ensuring all recommendations are based on a client's unique personal and financial circumstances, investment needs and objective, time horizon, and risk tolerance. And based on that, you will develop the asset allocation model. That is, you will divide the money into stocks or bonds, or you will advise the right portfolio for the client. You'll make the right advice, but you can only do that if you do the KYC. And this applies to both solicited, where the mutual fund and the client agree, as well as unsolicited orders. If there's an unsolicited order, still you have to go through the KYC process. And if the unsolicited order is unsuitable, then you can refuse the order. So we said that suitability is only possible if you do both. If you do KYC, you know about the client, all those questions, and you know about the product. And by asset allocation, we mean that you are able to diversify, to spread the money of the client around properly, to give the recommended portfolio, and you divide the money into the asset classes, which are cash, fixed income, and equities according to their KYC and KYP. Then you can give the suitable advice.